comes to that, if there are advantages or difficulties, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, on my right hand,
Yeah, Toya. I am a single mother of two. I am a beauty specialist, cosmetologist. I work in the Harrisburg area. I do hair, nails, lashes. I also have two other jobs that I maintain alongside of that. So that's pretty much, the life of a single parent, making things work.
okay, on the left side of me,
Hey, my name is Amina Carter, and I am a serial entrepreneur. I have several businesses that I do. I used to be a single mom. I'm no longer a single mom. Recently married, but I can definitely talk about what it is to come into a marriage, and now my husband is her stepfather, and I can talk about that side or point of view. For businesses, I work a regular 9 to 5 job at Dauphin County Prison. I also, as far as my businesses, I have Banging Body Lifestyles, which is an all-natural detox juice that is fun and delicious and is very good for you. We have fat blasting drops, power energy drops, things for people to lose weight, gain energy, and just feel good about themselves. Another business I do is an IP streaming, what they call AccuView TV. And basically what that does, for $39.95, you can have over 8,000 channels, including pay-per-view channels from all over the world. And when I tell you this thing is hot, it's really hot. It will knock that $200, $300 cable bill down to $40 a month. And all you need is the internet and a Fire Stick. And then last but not least, I have Harrisburg Talents Acting School. I am a veteran actress from New York. I've been acting over 30 years and came here to Harrisburg 8 years ago when I met my husband. And I've been teaching the kids mainly, but I do work with adults as well. I do one-on-one coaching as well as working with young kids ages 8 to 16.
okay, so how old are you, ma'am?
I am 51.
Okay, that's nice, 51.
Yes.
Okay, you don't look like.
Thank you.
So, how can they contact you if somebody is interested in any of the things that you just said? How can they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me at harrisburgtalents@gmail.com. That's Harrisburg Talents, all one word with an S, at gmail.com. They can also text me or call at 717-516-1517. Or they can look me up on Facebook or Instagram. On Instagram, my name is I am Amina Carter. And on Facebook, you can just find me under Amina Carter. You can also find Harrisburg Talents Acting School and Talent Agency on Facebook as well. And those are the best ways to get in contact with me.
Okay, thank you. So, how can they reach out to you? How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, can you talk to the mic? And how can they contact you?
You can reach me on Instagram, it's enhancements by Toya _ On TikTok, it's Toya L. Graham. And on Facebook, it's Toya L. Graham. Like graham crackers.
Okay, you say you have 2 kids. How many kids you have, ma'am?
I have one daughter who is 17. She's graduating this year. We're about to do prom next week. So it's been crazy.
Oh, so that's the daughter you have before you got married?
Yes.
Okay, so and how long did you just get married?
I got married in 2018, so it'll be 5 years in September. And my daughter has been with us for 7 years now.
Oh, so where was she at before?
So when we left New York City, her father took her in. He wanted her to finish at least elementary school. So she stayed with him for about 1.5 years. And then, we went back and forth to court.
Okay.
And then she ended up moving to Harrisburg with me.
So why were you guys going to court? Was that like for custody?
Yes.
So you wanted like 50-50 or you wanted like full custody and he wanted like half?
We just wanted to make it fair. So we did it so that I would have her pretty much full custody, but she would go and visit him like on the holidays or long weekends and things like that.
So why did you want to have her more of the time?
Because she's a young lady. I didn't know he had remarried. I didn't know his wife that well. And I feel like a mother should raise a young lady.
So you feel like young ladies need their mother rather more than their father?
Correct.
Okay, so you said you didn't know. What you think about it before I should say something?
I think that's her opinion.
Oh, but what's your opinion?
I feel like a child needs both parents equally. So,
You just feel like a child need both parents equally?
yes.
Oh, okay. So you said you wanted the child more of the time and you just wanted the father to have like visitations.
Yeah, well, not visitations, where she would go and stay with him during, like I said, the holidays, the weekends, in the summertime. So she would go and stay with him for the summers. But as far as going to school, we both agreed, him and I, that Harrisburg would be better for her in going to school because New York City schools were so like overcrowded and everything, and that she could get a better education out here.
Okay, so if y'all both agreed, so why were y'all in court?
That's just what they wanted us to. I guess the court system, when you deal with child support, that's something that you have to do because he was on child support. So now it's like, well, why should I support her if she's living with me? That was what he was saying. So we were going back and forth to see where she would be better off, even though he did agree that she would be better off with me. And I that's how I've always felt.
So why didn't you take him off child support?
Because he needed to support his child, and I knew if I didn't take him off child support, he wouldn't pay. Unfortunately.
To me, I don't think having a female child, for a female child, they need to spend more time with their mother. Because, for example, like everything that you just described, you have like about 3 to 4 businesses, right? Mm-hmm. That you just, and how long have you had these?
The Harrisburg Talents Acting School I've had since maybe for about 7 years off and on. The Bang and Body lifestyles with the nutritional health and wellness, I started it's almost 3 years now. I've been doing that. And my daughter helps. She's learning. She actually wants to be an entrepreneur herself. So she's watched both me and she's watched her father because he has his own business in New York. And so she's watched both her parents, be entrepreneurs, and it makes her want to go in that same type of field. She just has to decide what it is she wants to do as an entrepreneur. But she's like, I don't want to work for anybody, even though she has a job right now.
Gotta do what we gotta do until we get there.
That's right.
So with all this job that you just listed, how many hours do you spend with her? Because let me say right now, you say she's 17, so she's kind of like grown. But before,
before it was difficult because the hours that I worked, I had a job when she first moved here. I had a job where I was working 11:30 to 8, so it was very difficult, and I had to let that job go just because she wasn't doing that well in school. Because by the time I got home from work, I just barely had enough time to put her in the bed, talk to her, for the night, and then she's going to bed. So it was very difficult, and I thank God that I had a good man by my side who was there to be her parent, help her with her homework, and do things like that when I wasn't around.
So at that time, were you already married to your husband now?
No, when she first moved, no, we were not married. She lived with us for about 3 years before we got married.
So why didn't you just decide at that time, since you have a lot on your hand, to just let her be with her dad?
Because he's even busier than I am.
Yeah, you have to understand that just because it's a father or a mother doesn't mean that the circumstances are going to change. So he's in New York. He has a business. Now, imagine, it's more expensive in New York to live. So I can only imagine what his bills look like. He has to work just as hard as a mother has to work to maintain those bills, just like we have to work just as hard to maintain our bills. So whether he'll sacrifice that time or not would pretty much be between them to decide who is going to make that time for that child. It's not a fact of what you need to do or what you don't need to do. It's what you have to do. So, for example, he has to work to maintain his bills. Is he going to decide that I'm going to sacrifice this to be able to spend time with that child? Or is the mother going to sacrifice this to spend time with that child?
So who do you think is going to sacrifice?
It's every situation is different. It's not one. It doesn't, just because you're a male doesn't mean you're not going to do that, and just because you're a female doesn't mean that you are going to do that. There are mothers that's not going to sacrifice certain things to be able to spend time with their child if need be. But then you have those fathers that are going to sacrifice time to spend time with their child and put everything behind that. But a lot of time, a man's main priority is to financially provide. Sometimes it's not going to be their main priority to nurture.
Oh, but normally that's how it's supposed to be. But cause men are mainly there like to provide. Like when you have a family, like as a man, that's your main goal. You should be able to like provide and protect your family. But due to like the society that we live in right now, especially like in the Western country like America, where a lot of men are being placed on child support, and that already pushed them away from even being able to take care of their child.
But I feel it's not because they are being placed on child support that's pushing them away from taking care of the child. The child support was put into place because they wasn't taking care of their child.
Oh, but
now, am I saying all men don't take care of their children? I'm not.
So before you have him on child support, was he like providing, taking care, or what pushes that to like go to that limit?
No, we had a very, very bad experience. He was unfaithful to me time and time again, and I got basically I put him out.
So he cheated?
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically I put him out.
He was living with you?
Yes, we were married too. This is the husband I have now is my second husband. I was married to her father too. So he cheated on me. I put him out. Wait.
Hold on. Y'all were married?
We were married, yes.
Whose house was it?
We had an apartment together.
Okay, both of y'all have an apartment. Y'all see, that's the power of women in America. Like, yeah.
I put him out. He did wrong. I put him out. He didn't deserve to have, I felt like at the time, he didn't deserve to have his family. He needed to go out, get himself together, and maybe if he got himself together and decided he wasn't going to cheat anymore, he could have had a chance to come back. But when he left,
it get worse.
He didn't provide, he didn't contact, he didn't check on his child. So that's where the problem lies. That's where it gets ugly. My thing is, if I put you out, you still have a child with me. Even if you don't want to speak to me, I would never say, oh, you can't see your child. I would never say that to him.
All right, so at that time, how old were you when all of this happened?
Let's see. Maybe 10 years ago, I would say about 10 years ago. So I would have been 41.
So like 41. So before him cheating, was he like a good father? Was he providing, taking care of the child, like all of that?
Yes.
He was. Okay, so with the mind you have now, like from 10 years ago, would you have done that? Like push him out?
Yes.
Like for the case that he cheated?
Yes. I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all, because in order for a child to be stable and be happy, both parents need to be happy and stable as well. If that child comes up, I grew up in a household where my parents fought and they argued. Okay. And it affected me later on in life as well. So I didn't want that for my child. And I knew if I was unhappy, my child was going to feel that I was unhappy. So I didn't want that. So it's best for me to just try to do what I can do on my own. You stay over there because you're not acting right. And let us live our lives. But you still could be there for your daughter. If you call me up and say, hey, I want to take my daughter out to the park, or I want to keep my daughter for the weekend, or whatever the case may be, I wouldn't have any problem with that as long as I know that she's safe.
So you let your family go because of cheating?
Yep.
That's a big thing to you.
It's a very big thing.
Okay, let me say at this age now, let me say if your husband cheat on you right now, what, you gonna divorce him again?
I would sit and talk to him because he's a different type of man. The husband that I have now is a different type of man than the first husband I had. Two totally different type of men. The husband that I have now, number one, I know would not cheat on me. But if he did, I would have to let him. We have to figure out why. And if it's something that can't be resolved,
if he be like, I just wanted to have something different, like, it's not like he doing it.
I'm an actress. I can role play.
I know that's right.
Oh man, but you know when you start role playing like that, it never ends the same, right? Those like, it's never gonna end the same.
So you think it's accepted to cheat because you want something different?
I don't think it's accepted to cheat.
Or is it just accepted for a man to cheat?
It's not like
if they want something different.
Okay, it's not like it's accepted for a man to cheat or. But the thing is, at times men gonna do that because that's just how men are.
So that makes it acceptable?
It doesn't make it acceptable. But if you have a man that is providing and protecting for you, and he just go out and go steal a little thing and come back to you, what's the problem?
That's not part of a relationship.
If you have a woman that provides and takes care of your household, mine is provide because you don't feel like they should provide. But if you have a woman that takes care of your children, takes care of your household, loves you, cares for you, do all your needs, and then she just wants to go out and taste a little, is that acceptable?
No, it's never.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. This is the difference between a man and a woman. You as a woman going to do that is already different, and most women don't even like to do that. Would you like to just go sleep with any man?
No. Why would you like to go sleep with
Okay,
any
that's
woman?
the difference. Men will do that. And no catch feelings.
I wouldn't say not all men.
Right.
Not all men.
No, not all men.
And
not all men.
women.
But most of the men will do that if they have the opportunity to do it.
And not all women would not be able to go and sleep with someone and not catch
The
feelings.
only women that would do that and don't feel no kind of way are women that are selling. That they just like, if you're not selling, if you're a woman that you know you're not selling, you're not gonna do that because your body is not gonna let you. You're not gonna want to do
Selling
that.
what?
Like selling sex. Women that sell, yes, they're gonna do that. A regular woman is not just gonna want to be like, I want to get up today and go have sex with A.
Why
tomorrow.
not?
Do it, let me see. Go do it.
I mean, I'm not saying that I can or I want to, but I'm saying why can't a woman?
Because naturally, women are not built like that. Women, like, they conserve themselves. They don't just want to give themselves like that. That's why if a woman cheat, she already have feelings for that man. She already have some kind of feelings. She's not just going get up like, I just want to go have sex with this man for fun. Women are not like that.
All women. It's just in one box.
Not all women. Women that will do that is either they're doing it for money. She's not just going to get up and like, I just want to go have this with this and come back home. They will not do that unless they have feelings. There must be some kind of attraction to it.
Yeah.
But a man can just go do it right there and come back like nothing happened and never even call you.
So what about the women that go and do it because maybe their man did it and they want to get back at that?
At the end of the day,
doesn't necessarily mean there's feelings attached.
No,
the feeling attached is the hurt.
They always have some kind of feeling. It's either they have been like feeling wanting to do it with that man. Normally, a woman will not do that.
So what about the women that might go to a club and take somebody back home and do a one night stand?
They're
gonna text back the next day.
Not necessarily.
I have friends.
Not necessarily.
That I call pimptresses.
Yeah.
Because they go out and they see something they want, they take it home, and then
that's it.
They tell the guy to get dressed. The guy want to
go.
lay up,
exactly.
Get dressed, and go. You're done.
You have too
That's
much.
simple.
Like, you can't put women in one box. And
what kind of man is that?
You can't put men in one box.
That's a man who the type
like
of man
losers.
it is. No, the
Why
type
do
of
they
man.
have to be losers?
No, because a real man with his real sense, why are you even going to a lady's house for the first time? Like, what kind of man is that? Why you just want to wake up and go to some woman's house that you don't even know her?
Just because he wanted, he saw the
and it's not necessarily you're
overthinking.
Yeah, like you're overthinking the situation. They might have been like, oh, maybe the woman didn't want to go to his house because she doesn't know him.
But you don't know her too.
What's she going? But in their head, since you want to make it seem like women are in one box, they're more safer to go to their property as opposed to a woman going to a man's property.
And the man is just going because he likes what he sees.
Exactly.
That's it. He's not thinking about.
He's thinking with a different head.
Right.
That's how men are. That's why I say a man will go do it and not catch no feelings, but most of the time the female gonna have like a little kind of attachment to it.
It
That's
depends.
your opinion.
It depends.
That's gonna be your opinion.
I don't think it's my
I don't
opinion.
agree with that.
So how many percent of women do you think they're gonna like just want to go out there and just do it and just come back home?
I'm not gonna put a percentage on it because I don't know the world.
Right.
And
But I know there are women out there who do.
Plenty of women.
All right, let's keep that question. Let's go back to our main topic. So this one, anybody can start with this question. So being like a single parent or a single mother, what are some of the difficulties that come with that?
Juggling everything. Juggling work, juggling the children, juggling relationships. A lot of times as a single mother, I feel like it's harder to date because now it's not only you have to think about, okay, I want to say you want to go out on Friday. You have to find a babysitter. You have to figure out because you're not going to bring your children around somebody you just met, clearly. So you have to factor in the children in your plans. Now, say a man might not have their children, most cases. It's like they just get up and go. We got to plan 1,000,001 different things to even consider going out and having a drink.
What you think about it?
That's definitely true. Yeah, it's really hard when you're a single mom and you don't have, like me, I didn't have, some people have their moms to babysit or their dad. Both of my parents are deceased. I have a sister. I could ask my sister to watch my daughter while I go out.
But so often.
Right. So it is very difficult to date and to have a life. But I did feel like, I'm still young, even though I have a child, I still, my hormones are still raging. I still want to go out and have fun. I still want to meet guys and things like that. It's just very difficult, and you have to be extremely careful about who you let into your children's life.
Even who you give your address to.
Right.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah, for that one, I will accept. With that one, it's very hard, especially being a single parent, dating, all of that. But the thing is, when you guys talk about, it's hard, the man can get up and go, is it because the women don't let the man to be in their child's life, or he don't just want to be there?
Everybody's situation is different.
Yeah, everybody's situation is different.
But let's talk like in general. Let's generalize it. Like in most cases, do you think the men don't want to participate, or do you think maybe it's anger either from one party because the relationship didn't work, then they don't want the child to like?
Yeah, I know a lot of young women, and I see a lot of young women who take their anger out on the man by not letting him see his kids, and I totally, disagree with that. I believe that, a man should be in his child's life unless he's doing something like, abusing them or something like that. But other than that, you shouldn't let your feelings, get in the way of the child, because it's the child who suffers. The child's going to be asking, where's daddy? Where's mommy? Etc.
So, let me say for the people that are watching out there, right? Especially like for the younger generation, because now, like we see most girls, they're 18,
having babies.
Yes, having babies, and it always end up not walking with the guy. Like, what message will you like pass out to them? Like to your daughter, like at this age, what are you telling her?
My daughter is like, and I believe her because she's very disciplined. She's like, I'm not having sex until I get married.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm. She sees her friends. She has friends now, some close friends that are pregnant now, her age, a little older. And she's like, wow. She's like, it couldn't be me. She loves babies, but she's like, I'm not ready to have any. Right.
So what message do you guys have for the young ladies out there?
Be smart. Stay protected.
Definitely be smart. And if you're in that predicament right now, don't take it out on the father, but make sure that father is going to take care of his child. That I will say.
But you never know. You can never know. Somebody could be 100% while you're together, and then as minute y'all break apart, they're a whole different person.
Right.
So there's never a way to know. You never know until you just know. Honestly.
So how can we stop all these babies having babies?
Protection. Knowing what your child and where your child is at all times.
But even then,
And it's hard to do that, especially when they get in their teens.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that.
That's what I was about to ask. Like, do you think that blame goes down to the parent or to the child?
No, I wouldn't say. Some cases it might be the parents, or the parents might influence certain things. But I feel like you can have parents that are strict and keep you locked up, and you go out, and the minute you go out, you find a way to do what you want to do. Or you can have parents that give you freedom, and when you go out, you don't want to do anything. So there's no way to say whether it's the parent's fault or whether it's not.
And it's best for the young girls to have for the parents to have a relationship with their children. Like my daughter, we talk. She tells me everything. So she told me her first kiss. She told me her first touch. She comes and she talks to me about it because I think she feels guilty if she doesn't. She's one of those kids where she would tell on herself rather than lie. She would tell on herself, Mom, I know you're going to be mad at me, but this is what happened today. So it just depends on the relationship that you have. It's good to have that type of relationship. I hear a lot of people say, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. But it is good to be a friend to your child as well as a parent. There is a difference.
I don't think being a friend with your child is something that is good. Because when your friend is somebody that you feel comfortable to tell them everything. Yes, we want our kid to tell us like what they're going through, but at the same time, if you're making them your friend, that's you also telling them certain things that they're not allowed to hear. Like,
oh no! You got to know as a parent what to say and what not to say. Yeah, I wouldn't tell my daughter just any and everything, but I would want her to tell me.
Like for me, I think like the thing that is making like most of the younger people having like a lot of babies, I think it's kind of like trauma that is like that comes from like above, like especially being in a single parent home. Maybe daddy is working too much, not spending so much time with you. Now you're spending time with like friends, or you're being a lot on your phone. You're saying things that you shouldn't be saying, and then now it's forcing them to find love out of the house, and then ending up having like kids, being attached with somebody, because it's easy for somebody from outside to like tell you they love you rather than your parent, especially like if they work all the times, they're never home, just trying to provide, because being a single parent is really hard, especially in America.
Yes.
It's hard. You got to pay the bills, because being a parent alone is a job.
Right.
It's a job. Having to take care of the child, making sure like you spend good quality time with them, advise them on what they should do, what they shouldn't do. But sometimes you see, being a single parent, you're going to work. By the time you get home, maybe you're tired. You pick the child from school or from daycare. Maybe the kid want to play. You're already tired. Right. Everything they do annoys you. Now it kind of like it start bringing resentment in them, even getting closer to you or saying certain things to you. Now they start finding that out of the house.
So what about the parents or the daughters that do have their fathers in their life and they still go out and
get pregnant? Yeah, I know someone exactly in that situation
and
right now.
Active, like their parents are active.
Like if we're gonna look at those cases, yes, I'm not saying it don't happen, but it's rare rather than single parent home. Most of the kids from single parent home are always bad.
That's not true.
Yes, they're always bad.
That is not true.
You work at the prison, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the statistics, most of those people that are in prison, they are from a single parent home.
Well, that I don't know. I don't know statistics like that, but
you can't.
Yeah,
look
I
at
can't
statistics
say that.
off your head.
It's not off the head. You can look at it. If you look, most of the criminal record, like kids that are in prison, they mostly from single parent home.
What about the people that are shooting up schools that are in 2-family homes?
2-parent homes.
The only thing you can really say is the reason why it's single parents is because maybe the single parent couldn't afford a good lawyer to get them off of whatever case it is. But people with 2-family homes have the money to pay for it. So you can't really go off of statistics because a lot of people.
So are you saying statistics are wrong?
But what is your
The source of the statistics?
Yes.
I will look it up. It is. We studied that. We did that. We did that last year in sociology. We studied that.
Okay.
We studied that. I don't just want to call it the wrong thing, but it is. If you look that up, you will see it. So that's why I brought it up, because she said she worked at a prison. I thought maybe she knows something about it.
No, I don't know about their home lives. No. Mm-mm. But it's very difficult to say that the people that get in trouble the most usually come from a single parent home. I disagree with that. I wouldn't say that. I can't make that statistic or that judgment. I don't know, where you get your source from, but I wouldn't say that either.
No, there is. I just can't back it right now, but there is. That's a fact right there. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to send it to you, and I'm going to send it to you too. There is.
So you're only considering the people that are locked up
as
no. What?
It's not like we're considering. Most of the time, that's why I say let's talk in general. When you talk in general, you're taking like what is higher rather than what is less. So we're not going to focus on the minor. We're focusing on the majority. What is causing the problem?
But you're saying, but the majority. The thing about using prison as saying the majority is that majority of people are not in prison. That's one. 2, majority of people that are bad people may not get locked up if they're really good bad people. Mm-hmm. And 3, there's so many people that are wrongfully in prison.
For that there is. I'm not going to say there's not. There is.
Because maybe they do not have that support for someone to maybe go to bat for them and fight for their freedom. So they maybe end up in a situation where they're locked up. So if you're going to go off statistic, you also have so many different factors that fall into the prison system that you cannot really speak on. Because they're not going to put out there that, this inmate was wrongfully locked up. This inmate, had 2-family home, or this inmate. They don't do those research when they lock people up.
They don't.
They don't care about your background when they lock you up. They just lock you up.
Because of what you did wrong. You can't blame the parents.
No. We're not blaming the parents here. Like, what brought that question was, because, what did I say? I said something about,
most kids on single-family homes are bad.
Yes, they are.
But what about all those kids that are in single-family homes that are in college, graduate, become something? How many stories do you hear that people are saying, my mom did it by herself, or my dad raised me by herself? I mean, moms mostly, but my mom did it by herself.
Look at the greatest, LeBron James. He came from a single-family home.
How many of those do we have? How many LeBron James do we have?
We probably have quite a lot, actually. I think we have quite a lot.
But they're not acknowledged because what are highlighted is not the...
No, it's not like they don't acknowledge it. The problem is they don't look at the minority. They look at the major, like what is bigger. They're not going to just do statistics on something that is smaller, because that's not a problem.
But that's not true, because the system is made to bring us down and not bring us up. And that's in general. So they're going to highlight more of what...
Yeah, you notice on the news they talk about everything negative. Very rarely do you see they might have a story that they highlight of somebody doing something good in the community.
And sometimes it's
but most of it's negative.
They're forced to put it
out. So will you want to say, because if you guys want that highlight is going to be single mother are better. That's going to be the highlight, right?
We're not saying single mother.
No.
Or a single parent is better, because that's the kind of highlight that if y'all going to make that example, that's what the highlight is going to be.
I'm not saying you having a single parent home is better. We're just saying it's not true that all kids coming from a single parent home are bad. Just because we don't agree with that statement does not mean we automatically say that it's the opposite.
So are you going to say it's 50-50?
I don't know the statistics.
Yep. I can't say.
No. Yeah, you can't say, but okay, just guess. Do you think what percentage?
I cannot guess. There's certain things you can guess on, and there's certain things. You're like telling me if you're gonna say guess something, you might have a bucket here with blue and red balls, and you say guess how many blue balls is in the
Okay, let's do it like this.
I don't know everybody in the world.
How many friends do you have that are from a single parent home that have kids? And how many friends do you have that are from two parents home that have kids or that they're bad? Let's do it like that. You don't gotta call names. You can just do the math in your head. Like how many friends do I have that I know like him and her, or I know that she is from two parent home. That parent home is good, cause there's a difference between two parent home. There are people like in America that they said it's two parent, but they are just living to pay the bills.
There's a young lady that I know that is 18 years old. She's about to graduate high school. She is currently pregnant. Her father is a pastor, and her mother is a gospel singer. And she grew up in the church. Have a great, home, two-parent home. Like I said, she grew up in the church, and right now, she's pregnant.
And even them growing up, even the parent being a pastor's kid and a gospel singer, that doesn't even mean generally because they're both in the home that it's a great home either. So it's so many different factors within everything that you have to take into consideration. You can't just say because a child grew up in a single family home or a single parent home that they're bad.
I mean, I can speak from personal experience. My father died when I was 15. So my mother became a single mother of me and my 12-year-old sister. And basically, I had to jump in the role 6 months later as an adult because my mom became paralyzed. So at 16, I was pretty much taking care of the household, paying the bills. Not financially, my mother got an income, but I would be the one, if I had to take the rent to the landlord, I would be the one to run and take care of business. I would be the one running to the hospital when she had to go to the hospital. So it was a lot on me. So that when, unfortunately, my mother did pass, I was 28 when she passed, and I didn't have that burden, that responsibility anymore. Not that my mother was a burden, but I meant that responsibility of taking care of her. I was absolutely... I was absolutely, a wild child. I started partying. I started clubbing. I started doing all kinds of things just because I had the freedom now. I was enjoying, I guess you could say, maybe my teenage life that I kind of lost when I was taking care of her. So I was going to clubs. I was going out. I was meeting men, things like that. Sometimes, things happen. I'm an adult now.
So are you going to say that is due to lack? That's because you lose your parents at a young age and there was nobody like to discipline you or to tell you like you can't do this, you can't do that?
She's 28 at this point.
Oh yeah.
So do you think there's a limit when it comes to discipline?
No. She's 28 at this point, so she's an adult at this point. And with her being an adult, it's not like she's going to run home and tell her mom everything she's doing. Just like most other 28-year-olds aren't running home and telling their parents what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I was a grown woman living out on my own.
We understand that. So do you... Okay, listen to what I'm asking, right? You say your dad passed when you were 15, right? Mm-hmm. So from 15 to 28, you just had your mom, and with time, your mom, like, she get ill, and so literally she couldn't, like, there was nothing she can tell you at that time either.
I mean, she could talk to me. She could still talk to me with no problem. She just couldn't walk, but she could still talk to me. She would definitely tell me, when she had a problem. If I brought a boyfriend home and she didn't like, my mother would tell me quick, I can't stand that guy. All I hear is him laughing.
And what would you do?
He's so loud.
What you do when she tell you that?
I would tell him to be quiet.
Are you gonna stop bringing that boyfriend home, or you just gonna bring him and tell him to stop laughing?
I would tell him to stop laughing.
Okay. Do you think if your dad was there, will you bring that boyfriend home?
No.
That's what I'm talking about. Cause like there's gonna be a limit. Your mom, that's why I think parents are more important, like especially the male figures, cause they're gonna be something that even your daughter is gonna respect you to a limit. Mm-hmm. But with her dad, Like there's gonna be something that she's not gonna cross the line.
That depends on the person.
Yeah, because
you're gonna have sturdy fathers that are gonna put their foot down, and then you're gonna have fathers that are gonna melt to everything the child says or does. Not all fathers are sturdy fathers, and not all mothers are gonna melt to everything a child says. So depending on your circumstances, you're gonna have a different person playing that role. So I might be the weak one when it comes to the kids. They come, do whatever they want or whatever they know they get away with certain things. Now the fathers are going to be the sturdy ones, but that's because that's the role I might allow them to play. If I'm not going to be a sturdy parent, or if they're going to get a little more leeway with me, and then they might not get that leeway with their father, it's a different story. But then you have those mothers that are the sturdy mothers. For example, my mother, she was the sturdy parent, but then fathers weren't present. So it's not she was a sturdy parent because the father wasn't present. That's just the person she is. You might have those parents that...
And did you respect her?
Yeah, I respect her.
No, I don't mean now. Did you respect her?
I respect her because she was my mother, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
No, like when it comes to discipline.
She was my mother, so I'm going to respect her. It's not because I tested her to see whether I should respect her or not. I knew that's my mother, I'm going to respect her.
And even though my mom was in a wheelchair, I still respected her. My mother was bad. She would, if she didn't like, I seen her pick up a shoe and throw it at my sister across the room in her wheelchair just because my sister got smart with her.
So okay. So the next question is gonna be, right? Like we earlier spoke about being having a parent makes you kind of like difficult in like dating life. So how, like, to the young people out here, how for how long will you like tell somebody like it's good for them to bring like the next person to their child, like in case if they have like a child?
If you have a child, I would definitely say it's best to separate your child from your dating life. Unless you know you are really going to get serious with this person's putting a ring on it. I wouldn't bring anyone that I'm just casually dating around my child. Children get too connected.
Okay. What do you think about it?
I agree.
So
I'm not going to say marriage. I would say, because you don't want to wait until marriage for me, in my opinion, wait until marriage to allow your child to meet someone, because you never know when you do marry this person if they will even connect. And now you have a crazy household with someone that your children can't even get along with, or that may not even like your kids for real, because you never really understood or knew what or how they felt about your children because they never met them.
And it's funny that you say that, because that's what happened with me. My daughter was a teenager when she moved. No, she was 12, but she was a preteen teenager when she moved in with me and my husband. And we weren't married at first, but we lived together. All three of us lived together. He was a great provider for her, but there was a disconnect with them because he was a disciplinary, very strict. And I told him, I said, look, this is a young lady. You have to show her some type of affection other than just clean your room, do the dishes, do your chores. Like, that was his whole conversation with her. I wanted him to.
And it was always that.
Right.
The bond.
And it wasn't until, I would say, after we got married that they sat down and they had the conversation. And my husband actually said to my daughter, I wasn't around, but my daughter came and told me that he was jealous of our relationship because he didn't hear "I love you" from his parents. So he wasn't used to seeing how lovey-dovey me and my daughter were, kissing each other, hugging each other, playing around, laughing together. He didn't do that a lot with his parents. So he was kind of jealous of me and my daughter's relationship. And he explained that to her. And then, she kind of understood then, oh, okay, I see why you act the way you act. But he told her, I will try to do better. Because, that's my, I love your mother. I love you and I love your mother. I take care of both of you.
That's good. He did that because at times most men will even open up like that.
Right.
Like they're just going to swallow it up and
Right.
So do you do you let him like fully discipline her? Is there like a limit to what he can like when it comes to discipline to her?
Not really. I mean, he would never put his hands on her. He would never put his hands on me. He's not that type of man. But you know, my thing with him was ask her how her day was at school. You know, she started opening up to him, telling her about things that were going on in school or talking about her friends or, you know, things like that. That's the kind of conversations I wanted them to sit down and have, or just talk about some of his hobbies, talk about some of her hobbies, you know, have, you know, get to know each other. Yes. More than just keep your room clean, because she doesn't keep her room clean. So he's, you know, and after a while he got tired of saying, keep your room clean, you know, and he gets angry. So
you just said something. I want to ask this question. What do you think discipline is to you? Because you said he's not a kind of man that was going to put his hands on you or put his hands on her.
Well, when I think of discipline, I think about how I was raised. I got the belt. My parents got the belt to me, or their hands, vice versa. That's what I did with my daughter until she got too big. I would spank her until one day she came and she told me, Mom, that didn't even hurt. And I knew, I said, all right, I'm going to have to deal with her a little different.
Right.
What you think discipline to you?
I don't think beatings are effective.
Can you use your mic?
I am. I don't think beatings are effective.
Okay.
So, especially with this generation of children, especially these COVID babies that knock their heads everywhere. I mean, what do you think your little belt will possibly do to them? But I feel like there's different ways of discipline, and what works for you and your child would be something that you learn. I feel like parents don't really get to learn. Some parents don't really get to learn their children sometimes. This might work for one child, this might work for the next child. They just have one way of doing everything because that's how they were raised, or that's what they learned.
And that's what he said. Yep.
You need to learn your children to be able to learn how they take in information. Because you can beat them all day, and it's like beating a wall.
Mm-hmm.
They're not hearing it. They're not understanding it. They don't understand why them spilling something on the floor equates to them getting slapped with a belt. But then you tell them if someone spilled their stuff on the floor, they shouldn't beat them up. It doesn't make sense.
So is it fair to say, due to the fact that single parents work a lot, that's why they don't really know their kid? Because they spend more time like walking?
No, because there's parents that do work a lot, that set aside time for their children. There's parents that don't work a lot that still don't have time for their kids. So I would not equate those things with a parent that works a lot. Say, for example, right now my schedule is week on, week off with both kids, for the most part. The older, I have 2 days in the week, so I see them more than, I guess, it wouldn't be more, it would be equal because it's rotate, but a different type of rotation. The week that I have both children, I work less and I give them more time. The weeks that I don't have them, I work more. That makes up for the times that I do have them. And then the weekends that I have both of them, I try to do something with them, to spend time with them, to continue to build that relationship.
What do you think about that question?
I wouldn't. You were asked the question again. What was your
So
question?
she said, sometimes that's
Parents don't get to know their children.
don't get to know their children. That's why it's hard for them to even get to discipline them, because they don't
Effectively discipline. Not that they don't, but they
So
effectively.
I asked, do you think is it fair to say that's because single parents have to work a lot? They spend more time like walking in order to pay the bills rather than spend some time with the kid?
No. As a parent, I feel like as a parent, you have to make sure that you know what's going on with your child. Like even when I was working, even when I was working that shift,
Okay.
I made sure that I checked in with her. I would go in to her room, sit down, talk to her about her day, talk to her about homework, talk to her about whatever she needed to talk to me about. And now my schedule is I have more time to do that. Even though I'm juggling these other businesses, most of these businesses, I've included her in. She's come with me to my acting classes. She's participated. She doesn't want to be an actress, but she's participated. She's helped me out. When I have this business here, she helps me make the product. Like, she's involved in the things that I do, so we're still spending time together.
Oh, so it's kind of like a family business.
Right.
Right. But in this case, right, get yourself out of the picture. We're talking like in general. Mm-hmm. Do you think like most parents, that's why like they don't really know their kid? Because, okay, let me say a lot of parents, single parents, they don't have like the opportunity like you have. Like they have their own job that they have to like do, or they can take their child even to work with them. Mm-hmm. You have that opportunity, but a lot of parents don't have that.
Right. So, those parents are what they call them, the kids that come home from school and they're in the house by themselves, latchkey kids. They have those type of, where parents are working, so they have to come home. I feel like those kids actually are a bit more responsible because they have to come home. Sometimes they cook dinner because their parent is working late, or they fix whatever they can fix. Or, they're taught by their parent how to just eat a sandwich or heat something up in the microwave because they don't want them, cooking on the stove. I don't think that it's any less or any more. I just think that the parent getting to know their kid should, gets to know their kid, whether they're single.
Some men that would not, if they are not put on that.
Right.
So I just think it's the way the system is designed. Like it's designed like the one thing I noticed about the system in America is designed to separate families. That's because there was one time I have like a friend, like there was one time she went so her boyfriend was locked up, so she went in, she wanted like full time and all of that. Mm-hmm. Like she was advised to put him on child support. Mm-hmm. Like they were advising her to do that, even though he was there. They was like, the government's gonna pay you, but when he come out, he's gonna have to pay them.
That is part of the system. Part of the system is that if you go to get food stamps, right. If you go get public assistance, they have to know, well, where's the child's father? What is the child's father doing?
I feel like it's only right. It's only right that,
because the government's saying you're coming to us to get money. Well, what about you and the father? Right. Why can't you provide? Why are you coming to us to get money? Is what the government is saying.
I mean, yeah.
But you're also not speaking on the fact that it does require her to be searching and looking for jobs as well. It does require her the
mother?
It does require them to search and look for jobs. Now, whether or not they work around the system to avoid doing that, that's a whole different story. Now, for example, that situation happened to me. At some point, I was in school. I could not work. I was also taking care of a newborn. Yes, they did make me put my baby's father on child support. Or
did you try to get him to help and he didn't want to help?
Help in what way?
Financially.
Now, we were 21. He's living at home with his parents as well as I'm living at home with my parents. So at that point, it's but so much he could help with.
Okay, but when you put him on child support, where is that money still gonna come from? From his pocket, right? They're not gonna ask his parent to pay it.
Right, but so with my situation, my child's father initially was on child support, and that was because I felt like sometimes you have some growing up to do. We all have growing up to do. And with his situation, he didn't see the importance of certain things because of his age, or not because of, I'm not going to say it's because of his age, but he was young. So we both had growing up to do. I kind of grew up a little faster because I moved out at 17.
So what was your grow up? To put him on child support?
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, because like what was your grow up?
I'm saying that he had growing up to do, so he didn't understand what was important. He didn't pay bills. He had a 2-family household, so he was still living with his parents, and he didn't pay bills yet. He hadn't gotten out into the real world, so he didn't know what was kind of required, what bills was there, what was insurance, all that stuff. He didn't know any of that. So he had growing up to do as far as getting into the real world. He didn't have responsibilities. So when it came to the child, it was, now, for example, I would work. I have to provide because now I'm in my own household. I have to provide. I have the child. I have to find childcare. He works, but he works nights.
Was he helping financially anyway?
No. So he wasn't helping financially, and he wasn't helping with time. Now, when we finally did figure out, I started getting help when I said, it's either you're going to help financially or you're going to start putting in time. He started putting in time. Now, we agreed that our child wasn't going to go to daycare and stuff like that until he can talk. That was our agreement. But he didn't see the importance of, maybe when you get off, you have the child. When I get off, I have the child. Oh, I have him this days, you have him this days. That's it. I'm like, there's more required than just the days you have him and the days you don't.
How is he being fed? How is he being housed?
Right. So we wasn't on the same page with what was required. He ended up getting on child support. Once it helped with the foundation. That's where our situation was. My goal wasn't to keep him on child support to get money out of his pocket. My goal was, I need help. And who am I supposed to get help from? Now, once he kind of, we both did some growing. We both took ourselves out of the situation and realized that the child is the main priority and what's in the best interest for the child. Then we came to a foundation where I didn't have to ask for certain things, or I didn't have to require him to do certain things because he just did it. When we came to that agreement, that understanding, that's when I took him off. My goal was not, I needed more money in my pocket or, more than necessary for neither of my kids.
What do you think about child support?
I mean, I believe that child support was put into place for fathers who did not support their child financially, and their mothers needed help.
So do you think like people are abusing child support now, like they're not using it for the right reason?
No, I don't believe that child support is being abused. Because if I'm like this, if I was wealthy, I probably wouldn't even put my daughter's father on child support because I can carry it on my own. It's when I can't carry it on my own by myself is that I put him on child support.
So do you think child support make men lazy?
No.
Make them lazy how?
Like not trying to be in their child life at all.
But you providing for your child financially should not determine whether you're in your child's life or not.
Right. But child support,
that's a personal choice.
Child support, that's not you providing. That they force you. They're forcing you.
If the woman's on public assistance, they force you to put the father on child support. But if you're just working a regular job and you need support, like say you and I had a baby.
Okay.
And I'm working, I'm taking care of our child, and I say to you, hey,
she needs diapers.
Yeah, she needs diapers. And this is my off pay. I don't get paid this week. I get paid next week.
Well, you're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, like what would you say to me?
You're going to have to figure it out because I ain't got it.
You're asking me? Mm-hmm. I will buy the diapers.
Okay.
Okay.
You would buy the diapers. Some men say, you're going to have to figure it out.
Some men would say, yep, I don't have it.
But that's the problem. You picked that man. Who gave you that man? Didn't you choose him?
What does that have to do with you providing?
What do you mean? What does that? That's the consequences of what you choose.
Right. And sometimes those men are good men and they're not good fathers. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those men are good men and good fathers until you guys are separated. Sometimes those men aren't good fathers when you're together and they turn into good fathers after you guys are separated, or they turn into good fathers because the women that they're with require them to be good fathers to be with them. Every situation is different and you don't know who anyone is until they show you who they are.
That is true.
And they can surprise you.
Yeah, to me, I think child support make a lot of men lazy. It makes them though like it just be like, okay, I'm gonna pay the bill, and they don't care like the emotional part of their kid.
They don't care emotionally because that's just who they are. It's not because they're on child support. Because you have men that are on child support that they say, okay, well, yeah, I'm on child support, but my child still needs this and this and this, and I'm still going to get it. Because it's not about what that parent did or didn't do. It's about who you are and who you are as a man.
I mean, use yourself.
And what you're going to do.
No, stop using that word is who you are as a man. Cause
No, but think about your situation. You said your baby mom here has you on child support. Do you feel lazy because you're on child support, or do you want to reach out and see your child and spend time with your child?
I want to spend time with my child.
Okay.
So then,
Why are you defending the people that
No.
don't put the time in?
It's not like everybody is not the same. It's not like I'm defending the people, right? I'm just talking like on the bad side on child support as a whole. Because normally, right, child support normally, like if you look at like what child support is, it means you were not even taking care of the child. They have to force you to take care of your child. So any kid that is already growing up, no, like my mom have to put my dad on child support in order to take care of me. That child is already looking you some kind of way.
No.
It's like they have to force you to care for me. So I wasn't worthy.
No.
I wasn't that important. A lot of
I
kids
can
don't look
tell-
at it that way.
Not necessarily.
I can tell you that my daughter's 17. She doesn't look at her father. She thinks the world of her father. She
My
loves
sister-
her father.
My sister's dad was on child support till she was 21. He was paying her rent at 21
Paying whose
with
rent?
child support.
Your sister
My
rent?
sister's rent with child support. She doesn't look at her dad like, oh, my mom had to put you on child support to help me. No, because even with the child support, without the child support, her dad was picking her up. He was picking all of us up, taking us out, being a father, because that's the type of man he is. He picks up his kids regardless of what. He picks up his kids'
So
siblings.
why was he on child support? Did they put him on child support before he started acting like that?
The reason of why my mother put him on child support is neither here nor there for me.
That's-
I
okay,
don't know, because
that's what I said.
I was a child.
That's why from the beginning I asked, like, do you think like child support is being abused? Because really, there's some men that gonna do that thing without being on child support.
But
They are being put on that.
But picking up a child and taking a child out to play games isn't all it takes to be a parent.
And providing financially isn't what it takes to be a parent.
It's not all it takes to be a parent, but it is
Are
necessary.
you gonna prefer the financial part or the emotional part?
I would say I prefer the emotional part, but everybody's circumstance is different. I work multiple jobs, which takes away from my child so that I can provide. Now, would I prefer you be able to help me so that I can have more time with my child, just like you have free time with the child? Yes, because the equally amount of help that we both put into this child means that we both have equally amount of time to be able to assist.
Okay, that's where we have to avoid doing the child support. Rather, which one? I know it's hard to have like the co-parent conversation.
So
It's
you
a-
go ahead.
it's very hard to like come to a like an agreement, especially if both parents separate and one parent didn't want to like get separated, like or still having feelings on the other. It's very hard to get to that mutual agreement. Like they can be like, I'll do this and I do that and I'll do this.
Sometimes it's not even about the feelings that one person have for the other.
Yeah, because I remarried. My daughter's father remarried. We're both married to, different people now. And we can all talk, all four of us. I talk to his wife even because she runs the money with him. So sometimes I have to go to her and say, hey, prom is coming up. We need some extra money.
That's good.
Yeah. So I have that. You want to keep that relationship as mature adults. You want to keep a line of communication open between both parents and learn how to co-parent. It hasn't always been easy, but it's like she said, everybody had growing up to do.
All right. So let me make it this way, right? Let me take it this way, right? So don't take it to yourself. Let me say, all right. Let me say, okay. Let me do an example for myself. Let me say I pay $50 a week for child support, right? And as you make more money, if she goes back, like she could always like increase that, right?
The child support goes by how much you make and how many kids you have.
Okay.
So that's what the child support goes by. If you make $1,000 a week, you're going to pay more than $50 a week.
No, I was just making an example. Okay, let me. How much you think if you make like $1,000 a week? How much you think you can pay on child support on that?
I don't know. I don't know quite how they figure it out. Like I said, it depends on
The amount you make.
the
And
amount
what the
you
child
make and the
needs.
circumstances.
So if the child's in daycare, you're gonna pay more because you have to pay half of daycare. If the child needs insurance, you're gonna pay more because you have to pay half of insurance.
So how much could that be? Like let's say 100.
No, probably more than that.
All right, let's say $150. Okay, let me say every week a man is paying $150. Does a child really spend $150 every week?
Yes, because that $150 a week is going into their
Rent?
clothes, their rent, their
No,
food.
their rent.
Yes, they have to have a roof over their head. So part of
What?
that child support goes
Okay.
into electricity.
Okay.
They need electricity. It goes into the household bills and taking care of that child.
So if that child, okay, let me say if that child wasn't there, is your electric bill gonna change? Is your house rent gonna change? The amount you were supposed to pay?
Yes.
But we're talking about the
Absolutely.
child.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
Why? Okay, let me say that those both parents have one half. Let me say they have like a custody issue. They like she goes from two houses. That amount still doesn't change.
Yes, it does.
No,
It
it
does.
doesn't.
Yes, it does. If you have 50-50 custody, you are not required to pay.
Okay, let me say if it's partial.
Partial, you have 2 days. You can, if you want to be that and count tit for tat, you can bring them to court and lessen that amount.
Yeah, I don't like child support. It's not because I'm paying it. I just think in general it's not beneficial for the child. It's not.
So then the other parent should struggle in the event that the one parent doesn't want to pay anything. The other parent should struggle and not make ends meet because you don't feel like it's beneficial.
I mean, people are still gonna do what they want to do, but I don't just think child support is beneficial for the child. It doesn't help the child because most of the money that they pay in child support is not used on the child. You guys are talking about house rent, like a kid is supposed to be paying house rent.
No, that is part of it, though. You're paying for a roof over the child's head.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be a child responsibility, should it?
It's not the child's responsibility, it's
No.
the parent's responsibility.
So
the
most
child
of-
isn't paying it.
So if they were living together, they would both be paying the rent, right? If the parents were together, they would both be paying rent for the place. Now it's one parent. So the other parent still has to take care of their child because they have that child together. So the parent still has to take care of that child. The parent still has to make sure there's clothes on the back, food in the mouth, a roof over their head, their lights is on.
Yeah, but why if that child is going to the other parent house too? Who helps him pay the other half of the bill?
Believe it or not, when my child used to go to her father for the summer, I would send her support.
You will pay him child support?
Whatever came to me, I would send it back.
Are you real?
Yes, I'm dead serious.
There's not a lot of you out there like that.
So
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't just like child support for some reason. I don't think it's good. It's